Hi, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Dawn Shop Talk, your place for online career and life coaching, professional development for school districts, and corporate training for businesses. I'm Dr. Dawn, CEO and founder of Dr. Dawn Shop Talk, and I would like to welcome you to an official new beginning of your week through our Monday huddle. The Monday huddle is a strategy I actually have used with my own staff for years because I believe that if you could change your viewpoint on Monday, you really could change your life. So join us here at Shop Talk each and every Monday for your free tips for the week and be part of our Monday revolution where we're starting to see Monday for what I believe it really should be: a fresh start and a new beginning. Now on to today's episode. If you joined us last week, you know that we announced the beginning of our three-part series on time management know-how. Now, those of you that know me know I'm a little obsessed with time management, and let me explain a little bit about why. I've always been fascinated with the idea of time, the fact that everybody has the exact amount of time each and every day, 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week. I've also been fascinated with how some people seem to get so much done in their day and are really happy about what they're spending time on. And others seem to really struggle, again, with the same amount of time. If you joined us a couple of weeks ago, you might have caught our episode on millionaires and billionaires and how they use their time differently. Again, the same amount, and yet they got a lot done and also still had a lot of time left, surprisingly, to spend with family and friends, and also had time to devote themselves to causes and activities they really believed in. So time management know-how, I think, is going to be really important, not only for our audience, but also for any of the clients that I might end up working with from Shop Talk. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, since it's such an important subject, I wanted to make sure we broke that up into these three parts. So we're going to focus on my favorite office tips, but we're also going to be focusing on a home edition of that same strategy, my favorite tips for time management in your home. And we're also going to be looking at time management in your suitcase. Now, I know we're not doing a lot of traveling right now, but some of you might even just be traveling to another town, maybe visiting friends or close family members and things like that. So you'd be surprised at how much time you can waste trying to organize your suitcase and make sure you have everything ready and on the go. So be sure to join us for the next couple of weeks as we cover our three-part series. Okay, as I mentioned, today's episode is going to be our office edition. You guys, there are so many tips I can give you on how to make the best time or use of your time for the office. But since we're trying to keep our show relatively short, and that can be hard because we get very enthusiastic around here to share these tips with you, we're going to try to keep the show around 20 minutes. So keep in mind, these are just a couple of my favorite tips, but I'm really excited to share them with you today. Now, before I move on, I want to take time to introduce my co-host today. Now, many of you know that I co-host this show each and every Monday with my dear friend, Michelle Williamson Hill, CEO and founder of Southern Inspirations. Well, sometimes life just kind of throws you a curveball and is very unpredictable because it is so rare that my girl Michelle has to miss an episode. So she is going to have to miss today. I'm very grateful that I have another dear friend who's been willing to fill in today and be our guest co-host today. So let me be sure to introduce you to my dear friend, CEO and founder of Empowered Creativity, Stephanie Ferreira. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today, and happy Monday.
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a great day.
It is going to be a great day. You guys, Stephanie has a really exciting business. I can't tell you enough about her work, but she actually is in the business of helping women entrepreneurs launch their online businesses. Stephanie and I have actually worked on several projects together. She is one of my favorite people. She's very passionate about what she does. And so I thought she'd be a perfect fit to help co-host today since Michelle was unavailable. And Stephanie, we would love to definitely have you back. Don't think you're just a fill-in, because we love you here at Shop Talk. Now, Stephanie, can you tell our audience a little bit more about your business model and the different services you provide? And I'm going to get your website up here so our audience members can see that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so grateful to be here. My name is Stephanie Ferrara, and I am the Empowered Creativity Coach. As a Christ-centered business branding coach, I help women who are in the early stages of their business to build the strong foundations needed for a thriving, God-driven business. Now, that doesn't mean they're preaching from the pulpit or preaching from their video, their shows, but it's what you're doing in the back end. It's what you're doing behind the scenes, and where you're letting God in within your business and your life that creates those strong foundations. I do this through several different channels. I've got my own show. I've got Empowered Creativity Show on YouTube. I also have online courses and a private coaching group business coaching group, called Lead. And in that, I do walk women entrepreneurs through step by step through building their business online and getting it out there to the world, because we all have gifts. We all have messages that need to get out. They're meant for us to share. And so that is my purpose in life, is to help others get their message out to the world.
And she really does. I can't say enough about the terrific work that Stephanie does to help women entrepreneurs. And it's really helping women, really.
Yeah.
And I love that you have a spiritual aspect as well to your coaching model and your coaching business, without just pushing that too much, because I think sometimes people could be intimidated by that spirituality. So I found that to just be a really fascinating part of your business. Who doesn't need that positivity out there in today's society, right? So thank you again, Stephanie, not only for being willing to join us today for your very first Monday huddle, but also for all the great work you're doing to help empower women, which is just so important. So thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to leave my trusty readers on for just a minute so I can kind of get started with putting up some information back up there. So today, as you guys know, is going to be, let me go ahead and click on this and click on, hang on a second. There we go. Okay, so as you guys know, part one is going to be our office edition of our time management know-how. And so I'm going to be talking about those 3 tips. Stephanie's here because I love being able to have a co-host to discuss these and kind of help bring out, maybe some other aspects that I didn't get a chance to get to. So again, that's going to be just a lot of fun. So let me go ahead and get started with our very first tip. And my first tip is to talk about how to get out the door faster. Okay, you guys, especially on a Monday. So you see that scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Monday, we've got this. Okay, guys, we really do. And let me share with you why I think this is so important, especially on a Monday. Okay, I find that people, tend to drag in a little bit on Monday, right? And so that's the whole purpose behind the Monday huddle, and really just trying to kind of put the word out there that if you set the right tone for the week, your whole week is going to be just so much better. So what I do is I have a lot of kind of secret tips and tricks on how to get out the door faster. I believe it's really important when you're working in an office setting to be able to arrive to work in the right mindset. So let me share a little bit about what I mean about getting out the door faster. First thing you want to do, you guys, is go ahead and set your alarm for the time period you think you need to go ahead and get up. It's usually going to be pretty consistent, probably all 5 days during your work week. But go ahead and add an extra 15 minutes. You guys, that 15-minute buffer can save your life. You just never know what's going to happen. Like this morning, for example, I love my 2 furry children. I have a furry daughter and a furry son. I, on Mondays, take them out for a really nice walk with my coffee. Well, somebody had a little accident this morning, and had I not buffered that time period just a tad, I would have been so frustrated, and it might have thrown off my entire morning. So guys, not only do I set an extra 15 minutes just for those times where one little thing can derail you, but I also use my cell phone to my advantage. And we're going to actually talk about that in more depth later. But what I mean by that is I actually set alarms throughout the morning. And those alarms are kind of timed to where I need to be to get out the door. You guys, the reason that really is helpful is you don't have to stop and look at the clock. You know when that alarm goes off, you should be at a particular time in your morning routine. I have found that to be so helpful, you guys, because it really kind of alleviates the stress of trying to figure out, oh my gosh, is it 7 o'clock yet? That kind of thing. Right, Stephanie? So those kinds of tips I find are just some easy ways that you can get out the door a little more quickly, arrive at your office seamlessly, and already feel recharged and ready to take on the day. Now, you guys, if you're not working in your office yet, like I am, go to my website at drdonshoptalk.com, and right there on the homepage, actually at the very top, you can click on my top 5 free tips on how to work from home successfully. Because working from home can be a challenge too. So although I'm talking about working in your office, it could be your home office, but when it comes to getting out the door and getting to that office building, follow the tips that we're going to talk about today. Right, Stephanie? What did you think about those tips?
Man, tip number one, just getting out the door faster. I know what I found, that I do buffer in time, my alarm. I'm a snoozer. I like to hit snooze. So, so I have in my head exactly what time I want to get up, but my alarm is set for about 30 minutes earlier. But I love your tips around setting the other alarms during the morning. And I'm going to say that's not just for us as adults getting out the door. My daughter, she has done that as well.
Right.
Where she's got her time of, when she knows that she's got like 15 minutes to get out the door, kind of, when we're on a normal school day type thing. And so she has 2 different alarms after her wake up alarm to help her stay on track to get out the door in the morning. And that's just, it's been huge for her. One, because I'm not yelling at her like, we got 10 minutes, come on, she knows she's got paying attention to her alarm. And that just helps, like, there's peace in the house, right? Because
exactly,
because I'm not yelling at the kid to get out and, and hurry up and all of that. I know that I can depend on her alarm as well to get out the door on time.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you agree. I find it to be such a great strategy. And that's right, Stephanie. If you've got little ones in the house or even preteens and teenagers trying to get them out the door, it's really a great way to role model how you can get out the door more quickly and without all that stress. And exactly, as a parent, that is so important. My daughter is now 21, so I don't have to get her out the door, and she's serving her country in the Air Force. So if anyone's going to yell at her, it's going to be her sergeant. I don't have to do that anymore. But you're right. It's going to help you not be so stressed out. And what a great role model, for our children to be able to help them get themselves ready and get out the door. So great comment.
They've got to learn time management too. So
they definitely do. They definitely do. Okay, that brings us to tip number 2. Do not check email for the first 10 minutes of the day. You guys, I know this is a big one. This is huge. I know it sounds crazy if you're going to be effective and productive not to check your email. But let me explain the method of my madness here, okay? I had always felt, way before I did any research on this, that checking my email in the very, very, very beginning of when I got to the office just kind of threw me off a little bit. And the reason it did is because I'm automatically responding to others' demands. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need to. You definitely do. What I mean by this is the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes really needs to be dedicated to what your most important tasks are. If you're a to-do list person like me, then you have already filled out, hopefully, from the previous day, what your top 3 to-dos will be the next day. You guys, I believe in a to-do list so much, I've actually customized to-do lists for my own office staff, definitely for myself. It's actually a service we provide with Dr. Dawn's Shop Talk. And the reason I customized it is I realized that by the end of the day, I kind of already know where I'm leaving off. So I find it helpful to go ahead and put down what my top 3 tasks should be the next day. Because you go home, you relax, right? You kind of forget about work. You need to, right, to recharge. So I find that you're much more productive in making sure you're getting to the tasks that affect the company's bottom line better if you write down what your tasks are going to be. And don't write down a million things, you guys. On our customized to-do list, we have 5 tasks we try to take care of in the morning, 5 in the afternoon. I have a section for follow-up and some other sections that I could tell you more about if you want to reach out to me about that. But if you fill out your to-do list, and I do that each and every morning, I have my cup of coffee. The first 10 minutes going to kind of ease into my day, say hello to my coworkers and colleagues. That's a great way to start the day. Then check your email. In fact, I feel so strongly about this. I have an email directive from my own office staff. And that directive is we don't check our email those first 10 minutes. Fill out your to-do list. Let's visit with each other. And then we actually have established regular times throughout the day to check our email. I've also encouraged my staff to talk to IT and have that email ping disabled. Because you guys, if your computers are set up the way ours are, every single time you get a new email, there's a ping that can really distract you. So in order to stay focused and really get a lot done with your office day, really consider those tips. What do you think about that, Stephanie?
I actually implemented some of those when I was working in the office as well. I had turned off all my notifications so that I wasn't distracted. I scheduled time into my day. I'd have time blocks. I'm a big time blocker. And so, keep that brain focused in chunks of time. And so I would block off time. This is my hour to check email, respond, create, write that response and everything.
Right.
Right. And I did, as soon as I walked in the office, I didn't go to email. I'd look at my calendar. What do I have for the day? And I knew my to-do list, and I would actually block off the time to do the to-do list items as well, so that everything was scheduled. Because I've spent 20 years as a project manager. Things that get scheduled get done, and so even for me, even a to-do list can get moved and moved and moved as other people's priorities invade your day, right? And so having that time where things were time blocked, I could consciously say, if somebody was like, "Hey, do you have a moment here? Do you have a moment there?" I could look at myself and say, "No, I've actually got an appointment." It was with myself, but I've actually got an appointment. Can we talk about it at this time, and schedule them a time to talk about that? And so I'm a big scheduler, totally believe in that, so that your brain can stay focused on one task at a time and not be going all different directions. And so not checking email the first 10 minutes of the day was part of my thing as well, because that part of my day was focused on what does the day look like, and then I'll get to email later. It's working it with remote teams and people in different time zones. You had emails coming in all the time, and so I had to be very very protective of my time and where I spent it and how I directed that, because
Absolutely. And notice, you guys, Stephanie's company is called Empower Creativity. Think of the word creativity for a minute. Just because you schedule a to-do list and you have things on your schedule does not mean that you're, sort of like basically scheduling every minute and don't have an opportunity to be creative. Because notice she said her appointment was with herself when she tried to schedule something a little bit later in the day. So you can create buffers of time that, I know it sounds crazy to say schedule some spontaneity, right? But I always buffer time when I make my to-do list too, because I do want a colleague to be able to talk to me spontaneously about something coming up. And you guys, don't worry about that. Just buffer enough time so you don't overschedule yourself. Nobody is saying that at all. You wouldn't want to do that. That would exhaust you. But also consider this. If it's something really important, if your office is anything like mine, or if you work from home and have your own business, your client might feel the same way, and that is this. If it's something really pressing and really important, you guys, they're going to call you, they're going to text you, they're not going to send you an email and then wait for an email response. So as long as you're not letting email drive everything all day, then you're going to just be great. You're going to get a lot more done, and you're going to feel really great about how you're using your time. Now, speaking of time, you guys, it is time for us to check our comments. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. We love that. Oh, here's a comment from Amelia saying hello. Oh, thank you, Amelia, so much. We always get such great support. Really, really love that. Oh, Emilio saying, woohoo, let's go Monday. Oh, Stephanie, you can't get better than that. Oh, love it.
Yes.
Love it. Alexandra saying, nice intro. Great. We try to kind of explain in our intro the method of our madness when it comes to Monday. So thank you, Alexandra, so much. And my dear friend Kim, hey, Dr. Dawn Toronto here, beloved. Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for watching. So yes, definitely continue to let us know you're watching. We always try to make time to share your comments, give our video a thumbs up or share the content. And that really helps us, folks that have online businesses, right, Stephanie? If we get a thumbs up or a share or a heart, that kind of tells us this content is really valuable. And so we kind of know to make sure we include that. Okay, you guys, I'm going to move on to tip number 3. Use your phone to your advantage. Okay, we've talked about some of this already, but you guys, throughout the day, I mentioned how I use my phone. Stephanie mentioned this too about maybe alarms, setting alarms and those kinds of things for your morning routine to help get you out the door. I do the same thing in my office day. Now, I'm not going to have alarms going off every 5 minutes, don't get me wrong. It's when I know I've got to prioritize something. Like recently, I wanted to make sure I had a lot of uninterrupted, concentrated time to put forth my best effort for a presentation I was asked to give virtually just last week. Well, for me, because sometimes I can get distracted with what's going on in the office, I put my headphones on. I listen to classical music. My father would be so proud. And I just think that just helps me focus on what I'm doing. And it kind of makes me feel a little fancy schmancy, I have to say, to listen to classical music, right? So I'm feeling very good. And I set that alarm. The reason is if I'm putting together a presentation or drafting something important to document, let's say, I don't want to be looking at my clock. I don't want to go, oh, it's almost time for lunch, whatever. I don't want to get distracted. So I know when that alarm goes off, I've given myself that 1 hour. Makes me feel great about how I spent my time. And then it frees me up now to perhaps either continue working on that or work on something else. Also, health-wise, I think it's really important to make sure you build in breaks throughout the day. I've done a lot of research on this, and being an educator, I can tell you the human brain needs a little bit of a break. So when that hour goes off, I'll get up, I'll stretch, I'll walk around a little bit, maybe get some water, extra cup of coffee, or go visit a colleague. So you need that mental break also, and that really helps. The last thing I want to cover in tip number 3 is I use the timer function on my cell phone. If I don't know how long a task will take, and it's the first time I'm trying that task, I know it sounds a little obsessive. It may be, Stephanie, but I go ahead and time how long it takes me to do certain tasks. I don't time everything by a long shot, but if it's something I know I need to do regularly, I kind of need to know, is that a 2-minute task? Is that a 5-minute task? I now have making our bed in the morning down to 2 minutes. I kid you not. And I feel so good about making my bed every morning. You guys, it makes your whole bedroom look picked up. And then when that Admiral came out on YouTube and talked about at graduation, how if you make your bed every morning, you're going to be successful. I felt really great about that, right? Well, I might have thought making the bed would take like 5 or 10 minutes. And I was like, now that I think about it, maybe my mom would be upset that it's only taking me 2 minutes because she really showed me how to do a great bed. I probably should take that back. I hope you're not listening, Mom. No, it takes me 20 minutes, 20 minutes to make the bed. But in the office, I really sometimes think it's only going to take me 5 minutes to send that email. So if I have a lot of information I'm going to put in the email, then I realize, oh gosh, that's going to take a lot longer. So I might instead just send out a quick email and say, oh, let me get back to you. I should have that ready for you this afternoon, something like that. And guys, the reason I do that is if I really think something's going to take 5 minutes and it takes 15 minutes, that's going to make me late to a meeting by 10 minutes. That's the kind of information I want. Right, Stephanie? It's kind of like you're conducting intel for yourself to help yourself stay stress-free in the workplace.
Right. One of the things that I learned a long time ago and that I try to share with my clients is that almost everything is going to take longer than you think it will. So always add buffer. And,
Add buffer.
and so for me in the project management world, that was really hard for some of our executives to understand. Well, why do you have this 2-week block where that looks like nothing? Like, because something in here is going to take longer. And so that's a little buffer that gives us a little cushion. Well, I do that personally. So if I think, well, this is only going to take 30 minutes, I'll go ahead and block an hour because it probably is going to take longer than I think it will. We always underestimate.
Right. As long as you're
we overestimate our ability to get things done
really do.
That's what it is.
As long as we don't overpromise and underdeliver,
Yeah.
right? There's that too.
Right.
As long as we're not doing that.
Right.
But you're right, Stephanie, it always seems like we think it's not going to take that long. And they
Yeah.
say that people that are chronologically like late, like every single time they're late, especially if they're late by the same amount of time, they just really don't have a really good awareness of how long tasks take. It's not that they're trying to be rude, but you have to really consider that, because you don't want to work right up until the end, consistently be late, so disrespectful of other people's time, right? So great information. I'm so glad, Stephanie, you agree. It really helps to buffer that time. And then you guys, you have a much better experience and you feel really great about how you're using your time. And hopefully by doing that, it's going to free you up to be able to really get to things you absolutely love and maybe don't have time to do. Well, speaking of time, you guys, since we want you to be able to enjoy this on your lunch hour, and for most of us, your lunch hour is 30 minutes, I want to make sure that we go ahead and start closing up today's episode, since we're already at the 26-minute mark, so we don't want to go too long. So remember, guys, I give you 3 tips for this lunch and learn format so we can keep our show, relatively short. So the Monday Huddle is just a small taste of what you could have if you were interested in any of our packages. And that's where we could get a lot more in depth with you on coaching packages or presentations. So if you're interested in those services, feel free to reach out to me on Dr. Dawn Shop Talk. Also, if you're interested in any of our previous episodes, you guys, you can watch them anytime. Of course, we love it when you join us live, but you can watch that anytime on Facebook, Instagram, and we also have a YouTube channel. Remember also that you can find us each and every Monday with different topics. So I should say officially this is a wrap, but before we close, remember part 2 starts next week. So that's going to be our home edition, where I'm going to share with you my favorite tips on time management at home. Because you guys, the last thing you want is to be so productive at home, at the office, and then you get home. And yes, you need that relaxation time. You definitely don't want to overschedule yourself at home. But there are some simple time management techniques we can talk about next week. And that way, you're getting things done you need to do, that we all need to do at home, but you're still, again, having that time to get to things that really fill you up and really make you happy. Spending time with your family or friends, or, activities and causes that you really believe in. So we're going to cover that next week in our home edition. All right, you guys, so that is officially a wrap. Stephanie, this was your first time at the Monday Huddle. Again, I want to thank you for joining us today. And did you have anything else you wanted to add as we wrap up?
No, I just think this was amazing. Your tips are fantastic. And if you actually will take action on even just a couple of them or one of them, you'll see amazing changes just in your day-to-day as you implement those.
Right. I couldn't agree more. And it's not because I came up with them. I really, really do believe that. Thank you again, Stephanie, for joining us today. That's it for us, you guys. Please join us next week, same time, same place, and have a very happy Monday. Bye-bye.
Everybody.